Hey guys, it's me, Ty, and I have one question for you. Where the fuck is my son? Welcome to the Commonwealth, where the only thing more common than a settlement needing your help.
Another settlement has sent word that they need our help. Another settlement has sent word that they need our help. Another settlement has sent
is child abduction. This time around, you play as something I never heard of, a father. This Chad of a man not only lost all of his friends and family to the nukes, but he still manages to bop to Atom Bomb Baby on the radio. In this game, live the American dream by taking a nap and waking up newly single and without having to pay any child support. Explore the vast and exciting world of New England, which is only slightly better than the old England. Also, I swear feral ghouls are the average Boston residents here, right? Join in with many of the factions dunking on the new kid on the block, or support a local group of robo-pirates on their first official voyage. There's a joke here, I'm just not saying it. In a game by the only developer that could make a next-gen patch that breaks more than the original launch. Bethesda, how do you do it, man? But don't worry, the modding community will have you covered until Todd decides to screw them again. Welcome to Fallout 4, without mods, because pain is my only true companion, apparently. Fallout 4 is the fourth mainline game in the Fallout series. Yes, Fallout New Vegas doesn't count, guys. Ah crap, here they come. This game had such a lukewarm welcome when it dropped back in 2015. Damn, this game is almost 10 years old. Even I couldn't get past the first few hours before shelving it and never coming back to the title until making this video. But after checking out Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I want to give Fallout 4 a fair shake and see if it was really that good or if it's still that meh, buggy mess I remember it being. And honestly, spoiler alert, I was quite surprised with this game this time around. The game is filled to the brim of stuff. If you want a time sink and kill a few hours, this game is for you. Whether that's looting and shooting or Minecraft building, maybe you like organizing and maintaining a group of settlements like it's a day job, or you just want to get some of that robot strange. You can do it in Fallout 4.
Why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go watch the sunset?
Sounds good, detective. That was great, detective. But we probably...
I'm gonna be honest, Fallout 4 has probably the best gameplay loop I've ever seen in a single player video game. The game has everything, and honestly, I actually found myself enjoying my time in Fallout 4 far more than I did replaying Fallout 3 and even New Vegas. Oh man, they're really mad now. Don't get me wrong, the game has issues, glaring issues, and the first third of the game can be, well, boring, but it does build into something quite respectable and spawn a new coat of paint and a new engine that, well, still runs like ass, but it's less ass at least. There are some missteps, leaving the more role-playing design for a more power fantasy FPS experience. But I'm gonna be honest, one of my biggest issues with DC and the Mojave was, unless it was a main settlement or a main quest line, there wasn't too much to explore. In Fallout 4, you can't blink or you'll miss 8 possible 10-15 minute dungeons. And it's a smooth brain take from yours truly, but when it comes to Fallout, man, I just like to explore and loot. I'll take a destroyed hotel with a few enemies and a box of armor I probably ain't gonna use over a 30-minute dialogue segment with a smart TV any day. But here's the issue, I have played through Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas multiple times, and yet I couldn't finish Fallout 4 because I had such a bad time with it at launch. What's changed? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not the game-breaking next-gen patch. To figure out why, let's dive into the plot of Fallout 4 and see if it was really that good. Guys, we have a massive issue. 95% of you are not subscribed.
Oh, come on, Terry, lighten up. What are you screaming at?
Stay with us, cousin!
Please, if at any point during this video you think, hey, this guy's not that bad, please hit the subscribe button. It really supports the channel, and be sure to like the video. I'd love for this to get into the algorithm. I appreciate the comments from you guys saying I'm an underrated content creator, but gonna be honest, kinda wanna get away from the underrated part. So yeah, any support is greatly appreciated. Let's move on. This time around, you play as a rare type of dad, one actually looking for his son. But first, some backstory. Before you were trying your green farm at growing something inside your wife, you were shipped off to serve in the 2nd Battalion, 108th Infantry Regiment. And you know what they say, 108th times the charm. If you decide to play as the wife, you are a lawyer. Objection! After possibly becoming a war criminal, we head home to become a family man, and things seem pretty Gucci. We have a hot MILF wife, ruggedly handsome good looks, and a robot butler to look after our baby Sean.
Oh, sounds like someone made a stinky. I shall attend to young Sean.
You know, I was nervous at first, but Codsworth's really good with Sean.
We create our character and pick some stats. I'm going all intelligence again this time around for that sweet, sweet XP boost from the get-go. And then we get a knock at the door from Vault Tech. After being as polite as possible,
that because of your family service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault.
Go away.
we are secured our own spot in Vault 111, and it's just in time too because the nukes start dropping and the neighborhood goes to hell. Here's where I want to talk about a touchy subject, the dialogue interactions. And before the fanboys nuke my comment section, I do not use mods in these videos. The entire point is to look back at a game in its vanilla state. We all know the modding community can make a better Fallout game than Bethesda. It doesn't need to be said in every video. But for some reason, they completely butchered the charisma checks, which Fallout New Vegas nailed perfectly. Why can't we use this? And as added insult to injury, we now have voice acting for our Vault Dweller, and it sucks, man.
Your crimes have gone unpunished for too long.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't like it. In terms of content, there was some funny interactions.
You know, in 100 years, when I finally die, I only hope I go to hell, so I can kill you all over again, you piece of shit.
Ooh, sassy.
But I feel like it completely misses the mark with the role-playing aspect the series has had up to this point. I no longer choose dialogue responses for my character I'm building. I just end up doing sarcastic remarks because they tend to be the most entertaining.
Now, I can't wait for the world to end.
Look, some people hate it, some people love it, and others just mod it out so it plays like the older titles. And that's fine. For me, I feel like it didn't need to be added in for the main character. I'm a big fan of a silent protagonist. Yes, other RPGs can do this. We have The Witcher, we have Cyberpunk, and that's fine. But in the games before Fallout 4, that's not how they played, and it worked better in the world. But enough talking about dialogue trees. The nukes are dropping, we need to get the fuck out. I would say we quickly rush to the vault, but the main obstacle here is not the panicking mobs and the high stressful situation, it's the goddamn game engine. 3 crashes, guys, 3 crashes in the first 10 minutes. Todd, bro, you're making Fallout New Vegas look like it runs buttery smooth. I lowered some graphical settings on a nearly 10-year-old game running on an RTX 3080. And we narrowly avoid relating to a TV dinner and we get into the vault.
Oh God, oh God!
Anyone else feel a slight chill? It's here where we get cryogenically frozen for 10 years, or the equivalent of watching all of the current run of One Piece 223 times. We are then awoken by this Jason Statham looking motherfucker after he loots Sean, our son, and Vat crits our wife.
I got him. Let's go. I'm only gonna tell you once.
I'm not giving.
Honestly, Nora, you should have survived that shot. Skill issue. And we get sent back to sleep. We wake up again and this time actually decide to get out of bed this morning and explore the vault. And man, after playing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, this feels so much smoother. I know there's been 5 years development time since New Vegas, but it just feels so much better than the older games. I'm sorry. I love them as much as everyone else, but they're showing their age, man. But is it just me, or does everything being oversaturated in color and all the edges being oddly rounded make the game look really weird? I know a lot of people like this art style, but I'm gonna be honest, I actually preferred the more edgy and dirty look to the other games than this clean and colorful one. Don't get me wrong, this aesthetic works really well for the pre-war setting, but in the wasteland, it doesn't sit well with me. It's my opinion, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's the worst thing ever, it's different, I don't like change.
Father, help!
We escape and get our opening vista of what the world looks like decades after the bombs fell, and thankfully we don't get an abrupt pause for the DLC, but I've been out here for 0.2 seconds and I already have 87 quests. What the fuck? We get a little homesick and head back and see Codsworth is still around, and he tells us we should head out to Concord to find some people and see if we can find Sean, our son.
Sean does so love that game. Is the lad with you?
But not before we deal with another issue, an audio bug, where the dialogue just seems to outright cut itself off randomly.
They killed him.
Sir, these things you're saying, these terrible things, I believe you need a distraction. Yes, a distraction to calm ages and a proper family activity. Checkers.
Don't get me wrong, it's easy to fix just by capping the game's frame rate in the Nvidia control panels or the AMD control panels, but guys, this is a AAA game. How was there not a patch for this? Even 9 years ago, I think we were running games above 60 frames per second, right? We make tracks to Concord, but stop off first at a local Red Rocket gas station for everyone's favorite good boy companion, Dogmeat.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself?
Who's just chilling here. Now this is where I will give the new aesthetic a bit of a praise. Dogmeat looks so good in this game. He has so much character. But I do have an issue, because of course I do. It's Ty. I always have an issue. I love having Dogmeat as a companion as much as the next guy, and finding him here at a Red Rocket is pretty funny, because haha, dogs have penis. But this game has a habit of just handing stuff to the player right out the gate, and it comes across a bit handholdy to me. Jumping ahead a little, but not much. We get Dogmeat and power armor with a minigun as we fight off a Deathclaw within the first 20 minutes in the first quest. Look, I like to be rewarded for going out of my way to explore. Finding Dogmeat at the scrapyard in Fallout 3 is awesome because you could just randomly stumble upon him. There's no reason to come here unless you're just exploring. I feel rewarded. Or the power armor being something you work towards, something that you covet when you see it. It gives you a reason to explore, and it makes these items feel like something I have gained, not been given. It just ruins the feel for me. Granted, it's only at the start of the game, and I already have my issues with the first third, so not a big issue, but I want to talk about it. Anyway, we head to Concord and we help save a group of what seems like a group of Civil War reenactment LARPers and fight off a Deathclaw in power armor with a machine gun. The power fantasy is strong with this game. Remember when a group of raiders early game used to make your butthole tense up? We save the Minutemen and Preston Garvey thanks us and asks us to join his little group.
Do you think you could go help out with the settlement?
I'd be glad to help.
That's fantastic.
We do this and he instantly promotes us to Lieutenant. This is going to seem like a very bad idea once I get to the Nuka World DLC, Garvey. Working with the Minutemen gives you a seemingly infinite quest line that has you traveling all over Boston creating settlements for the Minutemen, which is great if you actually like doing the settlement crafting and building. And honestly, the mechanic isn't that bad as long as you're not trying to build something specific. Oh boy, I sure do love role-playing as Minecraft Steve in the Wasteland. Preston says that there might be kids over at Diamond City as that's the main settlement in the Commonwealth. And as we don't have a fucking clue what to do next, let's head there. On the way, we bump into this Chad Brotherhood of Steel member, Dans. He's getting overrun by a group of feral ghouls. We help him out.
We appreciate the assistance, civilian.
Dans is so impressed with us that he asks us to help him again on another mission, taking out a nest of simps at the ArcJet Systems building. These Johnny 5 looking motherfuckers are actually quite terrifying to deal with when you don't have your own personal bouncer that kills them off screen while you loot. My favorite part of this section is sacrificing Dans to make my enemies extra crispy.
Is offline.
Oh my god, are you alright?
Whoever said jet fuel couldn't melt steel beams is a moron. We give Dans a money shot for just overall being a legend. And we say our goodbyes as I have no intention of working with the Brotherhood of Steel. Aww. On the way to Diamond City, we do find ourselves outside a place called the Combat Zone, a fighting ring for raiders. Me thinking this will be like the pit and there'll be someone to talk to and maybe do a side quest. I just get dunked on. Now the great Todd Howard must have known I've been a good boy this year, as he gave me the one thing I wanted this Christmas. An Irish dommy mummy with parent issues that shit talks me at every chance she can. Yes! I'm just gonna move this up here. Kate is by far my favourite companion, and before you call me a simp in the comment section, you would be wrong, the term is furry.
I think maybe it's time to tell you a little bit about who you're traveling with.
She is pretty easy to build a relationship with, as she will like you more anytime you do a lockpick, or just pick the most sarcastic response in a dialogue segment. Her companion quest can be a little weak. It essentially has us taking her to rehab. You see, Kate wants us to help her kick her drug addiction, and for some reason she can't just go to a local doctor like everyone else. She needs to head to Vault 95 for an experimental procedure. It's a bit of a trek, but it's worth it though if you want to get some of that Teddy Strange.
Ow. I think I might have pulled a muscle or something.
Doing the questline means you can romance Kate, and that's something you can do in this game for the first time. The one game when you already have a wife. I should probably take this off. Though I'm going to be honest, the attire I picked for Kate probably wasn't the best idea, as she has a tendency to jump scare me. And generally just make me feel uncomfortable. Unlike previous games, Dogmeat isn't able to travel with you when you have another companion. It's only one per customer this time around, so sadly, Dogmeat gets shipped off to Sanctuary. We carry on exploring, and me playing on hard difficulty means I get to fight a lot more star leveled enemies. These are legendary enemies that can drop pretty awesome loot. The items tend to be pretty random, like sometimes too random, like a synth dropping a tire iron that does poison damage. But other times it can be amazing. It gives me low-key Borderlands vibes, which is always a massive W. Pretty early on, I got this laser rifle that, no joke, just slows down time when I'm in ADS. That's pretty huge. We finally make it to Diamond City and meet a good synth called Nick Valentine, who's doing his best Castiel impression from Supernatural. He is awesome. I love the noir vibe he gives off. If I could fuck an aesthetic, it would be noir. What can I say? I'm a sucker for a tie. Nick actually gives us our first lead on Sean and Kellogg by just straight up breaking into Kellogg's house. This man gets shit done. Using the goodest boy, we were able to track down Kellogg to Fort Hagen, where we finally confront the man himself. Kellogg seemingly somewhat guilty for changing our Facebook relationship status to "is complicated" by, you know. But I'm gonna be honest, man. She was practically defrosting. You did not need to shoot her to take my infant son. It could not have been that difficult. We avenge our wife and take a piece of his brain as trophy. I'm sure this won't come into play later on. And we exit Fort Hagen and, oh damn, someone's overcompensating.
Do not panic. We are not racist. Some of our best friends are super mutants.
Not gonna lie, I really regret helping Dan's out before. The Brotherhood of Steel decide to invade Boston, and now we have to deal with them and their terrible pilots. Honestly, who gave these guys a license? I'm trying to keep my own continuity from Fallout 3. So I'm just going to ignore all of this. Alright, so we need to find out where Kellogg stashed Sean, and to do that we need to head to Good Neighbor. And no, that's not a name of a feel-good sitcom from the 80s. It's a settlement where we can sift through Kellogg's memories to find out where Sean is. Before we head over there, I encounter this trader who is selling a pretty interesting SMG. Spray and Pray is a powerful SMG, and it has explosive rounds. This thing tears through everything like it owes it goddamn money. If it weren't for Kate leering behind me, I would kiss this woman. We continue exploring and stumble upon a house where I use the most powerful technique when it comes to charisma checks. Repetition.
I told you to go away.
I'd really like to come in.
No, you really don't. Now get out of here.
Let me in.
I'm done talking.
Right.
I told you to go away.
I'd really like to come in.
No, you really don't. I told you to go away.
I'd really like to come in.
No, you really don't. Now get out of here.
Let me in.
I'm done talking to you. Go away.
I'd really like to come in.
You seem nice enough, but trust me, you don't want to come inside.
Come on, let me in.
You're not gonna give up, are you? Have it your way. Door's unlocked.
And no save scumming, you can just keep asking this guy to let you in, and eventually the RNG will work in your favor. It's pretty stupid. It's here where we meet the Kobolds and are tasked with finding a sus serum. Now that would seem easy enough if it wasn't for all the alpha death claws around the area. This questline leads us to tracking down Loki from the Avengers, and I wasn't really listening to the family beef, so I just decided to free him because he has a cool hat. Though I may have 9 intelligence, but I'm a simple man.
Too late, Jack. Why don't you wait there so that we can have that little chat that's so long overdue?
Get away while you can.
One Oklahoma family dinner later, and we're back on track to head to Good Neighbor, a town where me as a British lad feels very at home. It's here where we use the cyberpunk sex machine to deep dive into Kellogg's memories, and we find out that Sean was abducted by the Institute.
Bye.
A group of simps that replaced residents in the Commonwealth with robots pretending to be them. We saw a few issues in Diamond City about this, where no one's really trusting anyone.
Don't move, Sim. What have you done with the real Riley? Where's my brother? I swear I'm not a synth. Don't shoot, for God's sakes. We're family. Kyle, no!
Okay, show's over.
To learn how to infiltrate the Institute, we need to head to Fallout 3 and explore the glowing sea. It's here where we meet the children of Atom for the first time. They tell us that we need to speak to Virgil about these tech issues, and he's held up in a cave up the road. I accidentally misclick on a vendor and end up having to completely erase this settlement from history.
All those...
This is your piece of cake. Is that all you've got?
We finally meet Shrek himself, and he tells us we need to go find the stuff to do the thing. This requires us to track down a synth hitman and take out his brain. I'm sensing a theme here, and why is it giving me PTSD? We do this, and the next issue is deciphering this chip. And to do that requires us to meet the Railroad, who are a super mysterious and impossible to find group as long as you don't look down. You can find their secret base by following this red line through the streets of the Commonwealth. We find the Railroad and we hear that they are a group helping runaway simps who escape the Institute and just want to start new lives in the wasteland. And honestly, it's a decent cause, but there's far bigger problems in the wasteland, with, the zombies, the rads, me. But I do decide to help them out because Deacon made me laugh, and also I think he has the hots for me. We join the Railroad and we get them to help us decipher the chip, allowing us to teleport to the Institute, but not before helping them out with their own quest line. It's here where we meet Glory, another good guy synth packing a massive machine gun. I like her. Hopefully nothing bad happens to her. We build the teleporter and we head to the Institute as sort of a sleeper cell for the Railroad to possibly find my son, but more importantly meet Patriot, a turncoat helping the Railroad from inside the Institute.
We got
Find a way to save.
Once inside the Apple Store, we finally find Sean.
Time. It's me. I am Sean. I am your son.
No. Wait.
Son, it's me, your dad. I found you. Hi, Dad. I'm your son. Call me father. What? Turns out it'd been 60 years since Sean was kidnapped and we were put back to sleep. Man, I wish I checked the calendar at some point. He talks about his goals and why he's justified in killing and replacing citizens of the Commonwealth. I wasn't really listening until he says that our wife dying was collateral damage.
Your mother. She never got to see you grow up?
Yes. What happened to her was... I've gone over the records of the incident, of course. It seems her death was an unfortunate bit of collateral damage.
Sensor anomaly detected.
So of course, being the father that I am, we punish Sean for being a little shit, but do decide to help him with a few errands around the Institute, while on the sly working with the turncoat simps to construct their coup d'etat. This all comes to a head at Bunker Hill, where all the factions kind of just party. We have the Railroad, we have the Institute, and even the Brotherhood here, trying to kill, slave, or free a couple of simps. This seems like overkill. Turns out I haven't pissed any of these guys off, so I can just walk right through. We free the simps and have a chat with our son Sean. He isn't too pleased with the outcome. And to be honest, I'm not too pleased either, Sean. If you just wanted to use the simps to do hard labor and miscellaneous tasks, why the fuck did you program free will? Answer me that, son father. He doesn't, and even after completely ignoring Sean's requests and defying the Institute at any possible turn, Sean decides to make us the leader of the Institute?
I am naming my father as my successor.
Oh, boy.
You can't be serious.
Really?
I agree with this guy, I should not be here. Well, as the leader of the Institute, my first action on the agenda today is mass genocide. But before we do that, I need to do something else. Mass genocide. It turns out the Brotherhood of Steel are planning an assault on the Railroad, and I was lukewarm at best on this faction beef, but once they took out Glory, I was locked in. We infiltrate the Brotherhood of Steel air balloon stealthily, well, some of us stealthily, Kate. And we set up a few bombs and dip.
We're out of the blast range now. Here goes nothing. Shit! Whoa. Now that's a hell of a thing. Rest easy, boy. I need a drink.
Hopefully a TV show in a few years doesn't retcon this ending. You know what would wash away this taste of killing an entire group of people? A second helping. With the Railroad on a win streak, we infiltrate the Institute and start a revolution, killing any human, simp, or gorilla, cause I don't really care about race as much as my gun does. We confront Sunfather, who is a little peeved at us destroying his lifelong work, and though one charisma check has him help us out by destroying the facility,
why would I ever consider helping you?
Help me.
Very well. The terminal behind me. Enter access code 9003.
it turns out he's actually dying. Ah, so sad. But he is still my son, so I get the mysterious stranger to fix his back problem or whatever was killing him.
Lord, it's a miracle!
Just in time for us to nuke him into the atmosphere. Now, doing this, you would expect to go into a final act, for there to be some, dare I say it, fallout from this decision. But this is the end of the game. We get our cutscene, war never changes, and that's the end of the journey. We had the pure goal of finding our son, and it ended with us blowing his ass out. Wait, blowing his ass up. But don't worry, there will be repercussions for us for this ending, as we now have to play Nuka World. My favorite thing with Bethesda is taking an awesome premise with almost limitless possibilities and making the most boring questline in history. Like, they are so good at dropping the ball. They might as well go pro. In this DLC, we head to Nuka World because, I don't know, this guy tells us to. It's here where our sonless father runs through a Gmod death run and and becomes the new leader of 3 raider groups. Wow, you say, playing as a raider sounds fun. How could this possibly be a mess? We'll get to that. The group consists of the Operators, a bunch of cool and collective fucks who just want to make a bit of cash. The Pack, a group of animal lovers and questionable fashion choices. And the Disciples, who all look like they work for Sauron and most likely eat people, but I have no proof on the last part.
I'm not sure what's worse, wearing a tie or wearing a teddy bear.
Never, and I mean never, go for the fit. It's here where we must assign territories to these groups as the overboss in order to try and stop the infighting going on, and spoiler alert, there's not enough to go around. So you have to dish it out carefully as the group with the least amount of territory attempts an overtaking of Nuka World. I'm not gonna lie, this DLC is a slog to play through. The areas are aesthetically quite nice, don't get me wrong, but the quests are so goddamn boring. You either have 2 things you do, you either have to kill all the enemies or find a bunch of stuff. The only bits I really enjoyed were the Savari Zone, where you can meet Tarzan, or this magical ghoul who works in a YouTuber's playhouse, Kid's Kingdom. Honestly, I just found myself going around this mismatched area just killing anything I can find and praying that I can skip sections of the game with charisma checks.
Ready to help me corral my missing?
Actually,
well, I suppose there ain't.
Sure.
It's then when the DLC has the audacity to spill into the base game with you taking over settlements peacefully or the right way. This upsets Garvey very much. I get that people wanted the option to play as a raider, and I agree that would be a cool storyline, but this DLC is bare bones stuff and honestly could have just been a basic questline in the base game, not a $10 DLC. But there are some W's. For starters, if you want to blow off some steam, you can kill off a bunch of wannabe space marines in an amusement park attraction.
Visions. I'm seeing visions.
Ugh, I think I'm gonna puke. Something's wrong! Shut it down! Shut it down!
I'm not sure how that worked. And the Nuka-Cola space mascot is pretty hot. Yeah, there's not much here. It's not all doom and gloom though, as the developers had their morning coffee today and actually decided to make a Fallout game for the next DLC, Far Harbor. This DLC is everything a Fallout storyline should be. It's creative, there's far more exploration, real consequences for your actions. Honestly, this is some goddamn good content. And though I missed a beat by not doing this DLC with Valentine, as having him as a companion makes the story so much more richer, sorry, I just can't say no to my Irish lass. It's still a fantastic time. It's here where we arrive at Far Harbor, a quaint town in the middle of fucking nowhere, where we are tasked with looking for a missing woman. Unfortunately, the residents here have taken up vaping and has given this island a permanent cloud of Skittle-flavored Guyintheties. God, I hope you like this sound. There are 3 factions on the cusp of annihilating each other. We have the residents of Far Harbor just wanting to live in peace and fish, a group of simps headed by Dima trying to shelter from the outside world and protect themselves, and a goddamn cult, because we have to have a goddamn cult. The Children of Atom, who apparently live in what I assume is Boogie's household. As usual, the wandering lad just stumbles into this very delicate relationship and is tasked with just sorting it out completely. The girl Kasumi, who we've been sent out to find, is shacked up with the simps and also believes she is one too. This should be relatively easy to clarify, but she doesn't decide one way or another until the end of the DLC. But my man Dima is an absolute pleasure to speak to. He has such dulcet tones that I would be more than happy to listen to while I fall asleep.
Also means the technology to make the synths is lost. Our origins have been buried. Not to mention the loss of human life. Sorry.
Dima tasks us with finding out his hentai stash, memories, that he left in the Children of Atom's base. And remember, this is a Bethesda game, so there has to be one gimmick in this DLC that makes it absolutely terrible. Balloon tower defense minigame. I'm not gonna lie, I was not dealing with this. I no-clipped the entire section, was done in 10 minutes. Listening to Dima's memories, you find out there's some locations that we could possibly explore to, pad out the adventure. We don't have to do this. And me already being 100+ hours in and 8 hard drives filled with recording says, why not? What's another SSD purchase? It's here where I get the peak Fallout experience. While exploring this area, I find a random hotel, no reason to come here, which I thought was just a ghoul-infested dungeon. And spending 10-15 minutes exploring this hotel, it randomly becomes a vault with a classic whodunit game of Clue with a bunch of robots. This is so random, out of nowhere, and just stumbled upon. This is perfect. Good job, Bethesda. Uncle Ty is impressed. In this questline, we figure out who the killer is, and we bang a robot because what happens in Far Harbor stays in Far Harbor. And we continue piecing together Dima's memories. Turns out he killed the leader of Far Harbor and replaced her with a synth. Ah, that's very my son of you. When we diverge this information to Dima, he is very depressed. He could not believe he would do such a heinous act. Not only killing a human, but wiping away the identity of a synth. It's terrible.
You killed Captain Avery and replaced her with a synth, so you could control Far Harbor.
What? I did it. I killed a woman from Far Harbor and replaced her. I stripped a synth's identity from her and made her an agent.
He then proceeds in the same dialogue tree to completely 180 and say we should kill the leader of Atom and replace him with a synth.
If Far Harbor could be made more tranquil by our intervention, then perhaps the same trick will work twice on the children of Atom.
What the fuck, Dima? I think you're taking the term war never changes a little bit too literally. Honestly, after hearing this, I just kind of got annoyed and decided to cleanse the island of simps. Well, I would if Bethesda weren't pussies. Seriously, I can't kill no one in this building. So instead, I do what I do best in these games and I just nuke the children of Atom. Dima seems very upset with this outcome and tells us to leave, and we take Kasumi home, as she doesn't really care if she's a synth or a human anymore. You're a human, you dumb bitch. And that's all she wrote. I love this DLC. This is probably my favorite in the series. It was a pleasure to play and a welcome palate cleanse after Nuka World. I need to replay this DLC at some point with Valentine in the party for the added context, as it gets revealed that Dima is actually his long lost brother, and it fills in some gaps with Nick's storyline in the base game. But like I said, I'm already balls deep in filled hard drives, so that will have to be for another time. There was some little DLCs dropped like workshop items and Vault 88 where you can build your own vault and become an overseer. That one's pretty cool because the more you do in that DLC, the more the game breaks. The Automatron DLC was a much more fleshed out questline where you fight hordes of robots that could even build your own to take down the Mechanist, which is easy once you give Codsworth legs. Now he's unstoppable. Fallout 4 is a game that got hated on pretty harshly by the community at launch, and even I couldn't stomach it at launch and quit playing so quickly. Like, I didn't even make it into Diamond City before I stopped all those years ago. Diving back, it's actually a fantastic time. It's far more sturdy than the other Fallout titles, mechanically. And though I don't like the new level up system, I do love that there's no cap to it. There is so much to do in this game, so much time to sink in, and that's not including the crafting system for weapons and armor or the endless possibilities for the settlement building. This game, through all its faults, is a great time. And though it still fails to capture that iconic feel Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas had for me, it's still a fun game. I'm super excited that the series is getting far more attention thanks to the hit show on Amazon. The storyline is very bare bones, and though I love the characters and personalities presented here in this game, you are left with a feeling of, why are they here? What's the plan? What are you doing? The factions are a far cry from New Vegas, don't get me wrong. But even in that game, it felt like every decision, every character I talked to impacted the NCR or the Legion in some way. Whereas in Fallout 4, nothing really matters for the factions until the point of no return. What I'm saying is I feel like we need a Fallout game where there's a bit more of a middle ground between these two extremes. Playing these games back to back has made me realize something. Each game absolutely nails a different aspect to the others. Fallout 3 had what I consider the best aesthetic in the world to play through for a Fallout title. And maybe take that with a pinch of salt, I am biased, there's definitely a nostalgia connection to that game over the others. Fallout New Vegas, though I found the world a little bit more lackluster than DC, the writing in that game is absolutely beautiful, and is definitely a step up from Fallout 3. And lastly, Fallout 4, though I feel like the writing took a backseat and the faction stuff was not as good, I feel like gameplay wise, Fallout 4 knocks it out of the park and gives you way more to do, and way more of it runs better, than the other titles. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if we could take a piece of each of these games and put them together, we would have an absolutely amazing Fallout title. And I don't get why we keep having so much infighting. Guys, we waste so much energy saying New Vegas is better than Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 is better than New Vegas. What a waste of time. These games all do something different better than the others. We should come together and respect what these games have done, not what they couldn't do compared to the others. Treat it as an experience overall. Because like I said, I've gone back and played these games with really no break and I really enjoyed my time. So stop apologizing for your favorite Fallout game or stop going into the comment section saying why yours is the best one. Let's all come together and put our efforts to something a bit more productive. Like hating on Starfield and going for that community, because that game fucking sucks. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure making these videos over the Fallout games. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think of the next project, as I have a little idea of what that could be. Which actually leads me into my next thing I want to talk about. I want to give a massive shout out to Pitstab. Bro, you have been supporting me on Patreon since I dropped it in one of the Batman videos. Thank you so much. The rest of you guys, what are you doing? He's making you look bad. Not to sully the gesture, but it would be really cool if I could shout out some other people at the end of these videos. So if you want to check out the Patreon, I do post hints and exclusive content on there occasionally. And up until my next video, I'm going to be doing secret hints to see if anyone can work out what the game is. So head over there and check that out if you're interested. But I won't leave you in the lurch. There is a specific edit that hints towards what the next project's going to be. So if you can find that, put that in the comment section. I want to see if anyone can guess it. But with that said, I'm going to head off. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it does well. And yeah, stay safe guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ty out. Peace.